Welcome to part 6 of the Kaleidoscope blanket by Bligh. This fortnight we're going to be making 36 triangles in 6 different color combinations. So for right here, she gives you all the different color combinations that you're going to be using, and they're labeled 1A, 1B, and so on. So we know how important it is to label these triangles, especially when we go to sew them together. So I'm going to go ahead and get started now. These triangles, the first 3 rows, do start the same as the last triangles that we've started. You're going to start with a slip knot and chain 4. Then you're going to do a double crochet into the very first chain. And this concludes row 1. Moving on to row 2, we're going to chain 3, turn, do a double crochet into the same stitch, and 2 double crochets into the next stitch. Oops. Okay, this concludes row 2. Moving on to row 3, again we're going to chain 3. We're going to do a double crochet into the same stitch or the base of that stitch. Do a double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. And then 2 double crochets into the last stitch. Okay, this is at the end of row 3. For row 4, we're going to introduce color 2. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it over, chain 1, and turn. Okay. Now I'm going to do a single crochet into the same stitch, but I'm going to end by changing to color 2. Now we're going to do a front post treble crochet into the middle post from row 2. Okay. Finish with a color change back to color 1. You're going to skip 1 stitch from row 3 and do a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. At the end of that last single crochet, you're going to change to color 2. We're going to do another front post treble crochet into the other middle stitch from row 2. Finish by changing back to color 1. And then do a single crochet in the last stitch from row 3. Okay, so at the end of row 4, this is what you should have. Okay, moving on to row 5, we have a message not to carry, sorry about that, do not carry color 2 along this row. So we're going to chain 1, turn, do 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and then we're going to do 4 single crochets across. Okay, so 1 single crochet in each stitch, and there should be 4 in the middle. And when you get to the last stitch, you're going to put 2 single crochets into that last stitch. So you should have a total of 8 single crochets across the top here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this is the end of row 5. For row 6, we're going to chain 3. Okay, we're not going to start by carrying this color across. So what you're going to do is do a double crochet into the first stitch and a double crochet into the next stitch. Oops. Okay, chain 1, skip 1 stitch from row 5 and do a double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Chain 1 again and skip another stitch from row 5. Do a single crochet into the next stitch. Now on this next one, you're going to do a double crochet into this next stitch, but you're going to pick up the gray, your color, or not gray, I'm sorry, you're going to pick up color 2. Okay, and then you're going to do 1 more double crochet into that same stitch, but don't pick up color 2 with that one. Okay, so this is what it looks like at the end of row 6. We have 2 chain 1 spaces where we also skipped a stitch, and if we look at the back of it, you can see that we've picked up our color 2 towards the end down there. Okay, so this is what it looks like from the back and from the front. Okay, so now we're going to begin row 7. For row 7, you're going to chain 1 and turn. We do need to carry color 2 along this row. We're going to do a single crochet in each of the first 3 stitches, and at the end of that 3rd stitch, you're going to change to color 2. Now we're going to do the first of our backwards popcorn. So I'm going to yarn over, go back behind the work, go through the hole and pick up that skipped stitch from row 5. I'm going to do a double crochet and then 4 more double crochets into the same stitch. On the last double crochet, we're going to change back to color 1, pull up your loop a little bit, and insert your hook into the very first double crochet, pick up the loop, and then pull it through. Okay, you're going to skip 1 stitch from row 6 and do a single crochet in each of those next 2 stitches. Don't forget to bring color 2 to the back and carry it along the top. Okay. On that second single crochet, you're going to change back to color 2, and we're going to do our second backwards popcorn. So yarn over, go behind the work and into the skipped stitch from row 5 and complete your double crochet. Go ahead and put 4 more double crochets into that same stitch, and on the very last double crochet, we're going to change back to color 1. Pull your loop up a bit and drop it. Go into the very first double crochet, pick up your loop and pull it through. Skip 1 stitch from row 6 and don't forget to bring color 2 to the back. I have a bad habit of forgetting it and leaving it at the front, and then when I get to the end of the row I realize where it's at and I have to go back and frog. So okay, so skip 1 stitch and then single crochet in each of those next 3 stitches. and carry color 2 with you along in front of you, because we're working on the back of the work right now. So here is what it looks like from the back at the end of row 7. And if we flip it over, this is what it will look like from the front. We're going to go ahead for color 8 and chain 1. Do 1 single crochet into the first stitch and change to color 2. Now we're going to do the first of our front post double treble crochets. So you're going to wind your yarn 3 times, go to the post, the front post stitch down below, go under it and around, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 stitches 3 times. Okay? At the end, change back to color 1, skip 1 stitch from row 7, and then we're going to single crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. So 1 single crochet. That does include the top of your popcorn stitches, okay? So here I am on my 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. On the end of that 6th one, go ahead and change back to color 2. Do the first of your double treble front post stitch. So yarn over 3 times, go around the front post stitch just below, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops 3 times. End by changing back to color 1. Skip 1 stitch from row 7 and do a single crochet into the very last stitch. Okay, so at this point you will go ahead and break off color 2. So we're done with it for now. And this is what it will look like at the end of row 8. My popcorns tend to lay over towards the right, so I have to kind of maneuver them to the front and wrap my post around it. Okay? Okay, so now we're going to begin row 9. Go ahead and chain 1 and turn. We're going to do 2 single crochets into the first stitch, and then a single crochet into each stitch across. Oops. On the very last single crochet, you're going to go ahead and put 2 single crochets into that same stitch. Okay, so at the end, we should have 12 stitches total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so this is the end of row 9. For row 10, chain 3 and turn. Do a double crochet not into the base of the first stitch, but into the next stitch. Okay, now we're going to do the first of our V stitches. So you're going to skip 1 stitch from row 9 and double crochet into the next one. Chain 1 and do a double crochet into the same stitch as the last double crochet. Skip 1 stitch from row 9 and do a double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Skip another stitch from row 9 and do a double crochet into the next one. This is going to be the first post of our next V stitch. Chain 1. Do a double crochet into the same stitch as the last double crochet. Skip 1 stitch from row 9, double crochet into the next one and into the last stitch. So at the end of row 10, what you're going to have is 2 double crochet stitches, a V-stitch, 2 double crochets, a V-stitch, and end with 2 double crochets. For row 11, chain 1 and turn. Do a single crochet into each of the first 3 stitches. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch from row 10, and then do a single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. Okay, so here's 2, 3, and 4. Again, chain 1. The stitches that we're skipping are the chain ones that are in the middle of our V stitches. Okay, now do a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and that will finish off row 11. For row 12, we're going to go ahead and introduce color 3. Okay, so I'm going to bring my color 3 over and lay it over. I'm going to chain 1 and turn. You're going to carry color 3 along the back, do a single crochet into the first stitch, and then change a color at the end of it. Okay, now we're going to do a front post double crochet into the front post double crochet that's directly below. So I've yarned over 3 times. I'm going to go around under the stitch, and then yarn over and go through 2 loops 3 times. At the end, we're going to switch back to color 1. You're going to skip 1 stitch from row 11 and do a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, remembering to carry color 3 along with those stitches. At the end, go ahead and switch back to color 3. Okay, now we're going to do a front post treble crochet, so sorry about that, a front post treble crochet into one of those middle stitches. Okay, so the middle stitch that was between our 2 V stitches, you're going to go into the left one. Okay, so we're going to go back around it, yarn over and pull up, yarn over and go through 2 loops twice. Okay, you're going to go ahead and complete this front post, and then we're going to do another front post into the right side middle double crochet. So yarn over twice again, go back around and behind that right side double crochet, yarn over and go through 2 loops twice, and change colors. You are going to skip 2 stitches from row 11, and then we're going to single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Okay, make sure that you're carrying color 3 behind. At the end of that third single crochet, change back to color 3, yarn over. Sorry about that, we had a visitor and my dogs went crazy. So I've switched to color 3. We're going to do a double treble front post crochet. So I've yarned over 3 times. We're going to go into the front post directly below, yarn over and pull through 2 loops 3 times. Change color at the end. And then we're going to do a single crochet, skip 1 stitch. Sorry, this is a very loud video today. Skip 1 stitch from row 11 and do a single crochet into the last stitch. Okay, so So this is what you should have at the end of row 12. For row 13, you're going to single crochet or chain one, and turn. Whoops, I dropped my thread. Okay. We're going to do 2 single crochets into the same stitch. And remember to carry chain 3 with you. Then do a single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. At the end of that last stitch, go ahead and change to color 3. Now we're going to complete a backwards popcorn into the skipped stitch from row 11. What that is it's at the very top of your V-stitch, okay? So you can kind of see there's a little hole right there, and there's my V-stitch. So I'm going to go back behind my work, go above that V-stitch, and pick up that chain, okay? So here is 1 double crochet. I'm going to go ahead and do 4 more into the same stitch. At the end of that 4th double crochet, we're going to change back to color 1 and pull up a loop, drop the loop, insert your hook into the 1st double crochet, pick up your loop, and pull it through. Okay, now you're going to skip a stitch from row 12 and single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So I'm going to skip this stitch right here, and my first single crochet is going to go into the stitch that's right next to the color 3 single crochet. Remember to bring color 3 to the back. I'm going to go ahead and do my single crochets. There's going to be 4 of them. On the last one of that 4, change to color 3, and we're going to do our second backwards popcorn. So yarn over, go back behind the work, and we're picking up the chain 1 stitch that's at the top of the V-stitch. So now I'm going to do 4 more double crochets into that same stitch. On the 4th double crochet, I'm going to switch back to color 1. Okay. Pull up your yarn and drop it. Go into the 1st double crochet, pick up your dropped loop, and pull it through. Now remember to bring color 3 to the back and carry it along the back. We're going to skip 1 stitch from row 12 and do a single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the last stitch. My color 3 does not want to stay at the back today, does it? So here is my first of 2 single crochets into the last stitch. So this is what row 13 looks like at the end from the back. And then if we flip it over from the front, okay? At this point, you can go ahead and break off color 3. You're done with it for now. And to go ahead and continue, for row 14, chain 3 and turn. Do a double crochet into the same stitch, and then do 5 more double crochets into each of the next 5 stitches. So a double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. Okay. At that point, you're going to chain 2, and you're also going to skip 2 stitches from row 13. So here's my chain 2, skip 2 stitches down here, and then do a double crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. Now don't forget to do a double crochet into the top of your popcorns. Those are considered a stitch. So here's 3, 4, and 5. The very last stitch for this row, you're going to put in 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. And so this is what it will look like at the end of row 14. You're going to have 7 double crochets on each side of a large space of 2 skipped stitches and 2 chain 1s in the middle. Now for row 15, chain 1, complete a single crochet into the same stitch and in each stitch across. Okay, when you get to the chain 2 in the middle, you're going to put a single crochet in each of those chains. So I'll show you when I get there. So you can either go into the actual stitch and do the single crochets, or you can just do, oops, I think I missed one somewhere. Or you can just do, there it is, it was hiding, 2 single crochets over the area, through that, over those chain 2s. Okay, so there's 1 and 2. And now you're going to do a single crochet in each stitch across. Okay, so I tend to just pick up do my single crochets around the whole chain 2. So I kind of just go like this. I'll go around the whole thing and then go around the whole thing again. I think it looks better, but it's really up to you. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember, you are going to do a single crochet into the top of that chain 3. Okay, so this is what it should look like from the back at the end of row 15, and then we'll move on to row 16. Okay, so now for row 16, we are going to bring color 2 back. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it over my yarn. You're going to chain 1 and turn. Okay, now you're going to be carrying color 2 along the back. You're going to do a single crochet into the first stitch and switch to color 2. Okay, we're going to do a front post double treble crochet into the front post that is just below. Okay, so yarn over and go through 2 loops 3 times. Okay, and complete a color change. You are going to skip a stitch, and then we're going to do 4 single crochets in each of the next 4 stitches. So 2, 3. At the end of the 4th stitch, switch back to color 2. Okay, and now we're going to do another front post double treble into the front post down below that you did on row 12. Okay, and we want it to be kind of cross the X, so I'm going to go around the one that's on the right side, yarn over and pull through 2 loops 3 times. Go ahead and switch to color 1, skip 1 stitch from row 15 and do a single crochet into the next stitch. Go ahead and change back to color number 2, and now we're going to do the first of our backwards popcorn. So your backwards popcorn is going to go into the stitch on the right, the first of your skipped stitches on the right. So if you look at your hole down here, we have 2 skipped stitches. You want your backwards popcorn to go into the one that's on the right. So I'm going to yarn over. Oh, and this is not a backwards popcorn. I'm so sorry. I've gotten used to doing those now. It's a front popcorn. So yarn over, go into it from the front, into the stitch that's on the right, and kind of bend it back. There's my first double crochet, and I'm going to do 4 more into the same stitch. At the end of the 5th one, change back to color 1. Okay, go ahead and bring color 2 to the back. Pull your yarn up a bit. Insert your hook into that very first double crochet. Pick up your loop and pull it through. Whoops, that did not work so well for me, did it? Let's try it again. Okay. After you complete that popcorn, you are not going to skip a stitch from row 15. You're going to go ahead and do a double crochet into it, okay? Go ahead and change colors back to color 2. And now we're going to do our second double treble front post to complete our little X from row 12, okay? So yarn over 3 times, pick up, go around the post that is on the left, yarn over and go through 2 loops 3 times, and change back to color 1. Okay, you are going to skip a stitch behind this front post, and then you're going to do a single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. At the end of that 4th stitch, go ahead and change back to color number 2. And we're going to do another front post double crochet into the post directly below. So yarn over 3 times, go around the post, and complete your front post stitch. Switch back to color 1. And then do a skip 1 stitch. Go ahead and skip a stitch from row 15, and you'll do a single crochet into the very last stitch. So this is what it should look like at the end of row 16. For row 17, you're going to chain 1, do 2 single crochets into each end stitch, and a single crochet in each of the middle stitches. So 2 single crochets in the first stitch, then a single crochet in each stitch across. And when you get to the very last stitch, you're going to put 2 single crochets in it. Okay, so when you're going through this middle stitch, remember that there is a popcorn stitch. I know mine tend to hide from me, so I kind of have to dig it out of there. I probably pull my yarns too tight, but just try to keep it in your head that there's a stitch there that you need to put a single crochet in. At the end, you should have 19 stitches total, 19 single crochets across. Now I'm at my last stitch. I'm going to put 2 single crochets into it, and then that completes it. So here is our triangle from the back, and here it is from the front. I really like this one. I'm really excited to make all the different color combinations. So this is the end of part 6, and have fun making these, and I will see you again in 2 weeks.